watching Let's Chat.
As you progress in age, you realize the importance of preparing properly for your retirement. And that retirement age on all of us is getting closer than what you might think. We're here visiting again, with our friend Morgan Hill. Morgan, good to see
Always
you.
good to see you, Chip.
And you've heard us talk about Hill and Hill Financial. Here's the other Hill. This is Holly. Holly,
Hi.
good morning.
Great to be here.
And you are like married to him,
Yes,
right?
I
So
am.
Hill and Hill Financial.
And she's the
There we
first
go.
Hill and Hill and Hill. She's the chief financial officer, and she controls payroll. So I'm always putting her first to make sure I get paid.
As well you should. You have talked to us, and we want to hit on this again, about the importance of preparing with a written retirement plan. Why is the written part so important?
Yeah, we actually help prepare folks for retirement by doing a written income plan. One of the number one issues that folks have, really a big fear they have in retirement, is, am I going to run out of money?
Sure.
Pensions are more a thing of the past than they used to. We used to get those nice pensions. Now most folks don't. And they're really wondering, am I going to have enough for maybe the both of us, or if it's just the one of us? So we think having a written plan versus just trying to do it all in our head is the way to go.
All right, Holly, you've had some direct and personal experience with this lately, correct?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, just, it's really important to be prepared for those later years. And a lot of times people just see it as being far, way out there. And Morgan and I often talk about our moms who are literally 10 days apart, and they're both going to be 85 next year, early next year. And just, when you get into that age group, you just start to experience things that are not planned. Even if you're healthy, there can be care issues that you need. And it's just really important to be prepared earlier for the income that you're going to need later when the things that you don't expect pop up.
I think with the two of you being married, and you have been for a while, you're the ideal setup for another couple, younger, that comes in and says, look, we've been married for 2 years, we're in our 20s, we've got college debt, da-da-da. Where do we start? What's the first thing you would tell them, and what is the first thing, Holly, that you would tell them?
Yeah, one of the first things we talk about when we have some folks that are younger, most of the folks we work with are kind of in that final stretch getting to retirement, but we've got a lot of kids and grandkids. And one of the first things that we talk about is making sure that they have a good savings plan, what we like to think of as a rainy day, and then once they have rainy day, and that's got everything covered, what are they doing as far as investing? What's the strategy for investing? Because what they've got on their side is time. And are they consistently putting money aside? Because I think we all know the math. If you do a little bit over a long period of time, it really adds up. And that's some of the chief counsel we give for some of the younger folks that might come in to see us.
Holly, what would be the next thing?
I would say the same thing, but what I would add to that, it's kind of the female side of the business, is communicate. Because if you're starting out and you've got all these years ahead of you, it's easy to say, well, save this amount and make this investment and all that. But you need to be communicating, because as we grow and change individually and in a marriage, some of our desires and the way that we look at things changes. So communication is key so that you're staying on track for that retirement plan.
And the fact is, no one knows how much time they have left. You could be 25 years old in the picture perfect of health one week, and the next week, bam, you're up against a wall.
And we've got some folks that we're just thrilled to work with who just turned 95 and healthy and doing great.
Wow.
So yeah, Chip, you're right, you never know.
What's the biggest myth when it comes to saving for retirement?
What we see as one of the biggest myths is that my spending is going to decrease in retirement. Someone told me not too long ago that when you retire, every day is Saturday. I don't know about you, but when it's Saturday, we like to go out and usually spend some money. Maybe we go out to eat more, do more things, and so that whole notion that I'm going to be spending less doesn't necessarily hold true. That's why when we put a written plan together, we got lots of numbers on this graph, but at the end of it is a simple chart. There's a green line and a red line, and we want to make sure that the green line is always higher of income than the red line of expenses, not just for the both of us, but for the one of us, because unfortunately, you have those early, what we like to call go-go years. When you retire, boy, we're out doing things, having fun, seeing the grandkids traveling. Then you get to those slow-go years, where you're independent, but having a little slowdown in your life.
Sure.
And what are those expenses Holly mentioned as we're taking care of moms and helping with that? that just that myth, and that's why we think having a written plan is so crucial, that you can actually see it visually and then make some good decisions based on that.
Holly, what's the biggest mistake a lot of people make when they are preparing for retirement? If you had to pin it down to one thing, what would that be?
Gosh, I'm going to throw that back to you. What would you say?
You know,
that
as
is?
we've actually dealt with family a lot as we deal with this issue, what we see a lot is just a lot of people think, well, it's all going to work itself out, and we're not being negative, but there is some real planning that goes into, not just from an income standpoint, but care and maybe estate planning and legal. Who's going to help me with certain decisions later in life? So we see that not only in our business, but we see that a lot within our own family and trying to help them with those decisions.
How do people get in touch with you to find out more information, to make an appointment,
You bet.
especially if you're a couple, you want to talk to another couple about it?
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, you can just give us a call at 800-887-9647, and our information is on the screen there, or you can go to our website and look around. We've even got a couple chapters of Morgan's book that he wrote. They can download that and take a look at that, but we would love to help anybody who's starting to look at this.
And that website is HillFinancial.com.
That's
Again, HillFinancial.com. Morgan, good to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
Holly, very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Come along with him anytime.
I will, I'll be back.
You dress the
Brighten up
place
the
up
set,
a little
you
bit.
bet, you bet.
Stick around. We have got more of Let's Chat right after this.